As always, good morning, crew. Andy Mechanic here. Welcome back to my workshop. If I'm looking a bit knackered this morning, there is a very, very valid reason for that. It's been an unprecedented busy week. It's been horrendous. It really has. But we get through it as always. Let's see who we've got in the workshop. Let's get the old live stream fired up. Bom, 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 bom. How's my internet going to be today? Oh, there we are, look. Pie, post and supplies. Yes. Who have we got? Go away, adverts. Roger Heaps. Good morning, Andy and crew from a rather wet Southland. Good morning, Roger. Welcome back, matey. Thanks for joining us. And George Bonnie 90. Hello, everybody. 10 of us. Hey, we've hit double numbers. Excellent. I always feel that my live streams are quite exclusive. We don't get that many viewers, but that doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I suppose overall they get probably between 800 and 1,000 views during the week before the next one. And as soon as you get the next live stream go out, the previous one doesn't really get many more views. Talking of live streams, one's gone missing. The one that I did, I think it was on the 31st, it would have been, of October. Now, I've tried to track down what's happened to it, and I followed a link to a comment that a viewer made, and YouTube have said that I've deleted that live stream, and that's not the case. I haven't. So I don't know what's happened to it, don't know why it's been taken down. Bit annoyed, bit upset, but it's gone. There's nothing I can do about it. It has gone. It's going to fall into the history books of YouTube, is that one. But hey, we'll carry on. So anyone that's noticed that, it wasn't me. I had no reason to take that live stream down whatsoever. Who else have we got? Mike Bazanski. Good morning, all. Well, good morning, Mike. Welcome back to my workshop. Killswitch BB. Hello. Hello, people. Good to see you all. Good morning, Killswitch. Peter Kunn. Hello, Andy from Hungary. Now here is Saturday at 8:30 in the evening. So you're basically exactly 12 hours behind us. It's pretty interesting. Welcome, Peter. I don't recognize your name, so I think this is the first time you've been on a live stream. So you are most welcome. Feel free to ask questions, and I'll do whatever I can. And we tend to operate as a group. So if I don't know, and often I don't, to be honest, my knowledge is quite specific, then often the group will step in and help out. Now, Tracy Farris, good afternoon. Good morning, Tracy. Good afternoon to you. Right, obviously time for a cigarette first. So how has the week been? Well, it's been 7 days since I last spoke to you. No, there's been no new videos go out. And to be perfectly honest, I just haven't had time at all. As most of you know, I've been servicing ROVs recently, as well as doing my day job. And the two that I picked up last time around were over 4 years old, both of them. And normally the surf clubs would replace them after 3. I don't know why these two are still hanging around. They really should have been sold a while ago. And of course, because they've done that extra year, on the beach, there's been some pretty major repairs had to happen. One of them had to have a steering rack rebuild. The pinion is held in by a normal ball bearing, bearing race, 8 ball bearings in there in a cage. And when the seal wears, because the bearing is sat pretty much horizontal, as is the seal, when it wears, of course, water and dirt gets in and it destroys the bearing. And then, because the pinion gear is helical, and you've got a thrust on that pinion, it basically punches the pinion back up out of the shaft and you lose steering. It was fine a year ago. It was still working, wasn't too bad. But I went to go and pick it up and it had no steering. It had completely failed, which made it a bit of a pain to get on the trailer. The other one, the master cylinder, had corroded quite badly behind the rear dust seal, and the piston wasn't fully retracting to its stop, which meant that the brakes would bind on, especially as they warmed up, because of course the compensating valve was blocked for that particular circuit. and possibly both circuits actually, and almost impossible to drive. The brakes were so badly stuck on, and certainly wouldn't do the vehicle any good like that. They had been using it like that, and it would put a hell of a lot more load on the centrifugal clutch, to be fair. But we've got all that fixed. Quite a big job. Obviously, all the calipers, including the handbrake caliper, had to be fully rebuilt. New pistons and seal kits and so on. CVT drive rebuild. And a few other bits and pieces to do as well. And those two used up the last of my underseal. I used 2 cans on each of those 2 vehicles, which meant I now have absolutely no underseal. And there is none of that underseal here in New Zealand at this point in time. Next shipment's in January, which is a problem. Now, so that's basically been my week, juggling that and, of course, you know, doing my day job and providing support to motorcycle dealerships around New Zealand, technical support. So it's been pretty busy. That and driving as well. I went up to Auckland, when was it? Friday. Took those 2 back on the Friday, collected some stuff, some supplies, and we'll take a look at that shortly. And then got home. It wasn't too late, about 8:30, I think it was. I got home, so it wasn't too bad. Yes, it was exactly 8:30 because I left home at 8:30. It was exactly a 12-hour run, and the wheels practically didn't stop rolling apart from just, you know, loading and unloading. And I picked up a 6-seater ROV while I was up there, and well, yeah. That 6-seater is also quite an old vehicle. It's probably about, I've not checked, but it's probably about 4.5 to 5 years old again. And the mount for the silencer, or they call them mufflers over here, the mount for the silencer had rotted off the frame and the silencer had dropped down and was rubbing against the rear tyre. So I thought, oh, I need to make a new bracket and weld it on. It's not a big problem. I'll take the tray off at the back, the little tipper bit at the back, I'll take that off. Just to gain some access, makes doing the valve clearances a lot easier as well. So I thought I'll take that off. And anyway, took one look at the tray, and it's absolutely rotten. It's unusable in its current form. Once I'd taken it off and I've been bashing the pins out, the pivot pins, the amount of chunks of rust that fell out and huge holes developed in it, I've had to report back to the club and say, hey, what are we going to do? Am I going to weld this up? If I am, I'm going to have to completely rebuild the whole floor. It's going to be probably about a day and a half's work. So that's really, really stacked up. But there's no rush for that one, so it doesn't have to be done this week. Simon Rawle. Good morning, Simon. We're just talking about all these extra jobs that I have to do. Connor K. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Connor. Welcome back, sir. Roger Heaps, what's the pie for this week? Well, the pie for this week is a bit of a surprise, actually. Mrs. Mechanic came across this. She came across this outlet for pies about a couple of weeks ago, and they had I think it was a steak and cheese. If it wasn't a steak and cheese, it was it was a mince and cheese. That's right. She said it was a mince and cheese. Are you interested? I say, hey, beggars can't be choosers at the moment. There's not that many pies around, so not in this area. So yeah, we'll have one of those next time you're passing. Anyway, she went up yesterday, especially to get with the pie, and they only had a chicken. Yeah, not really a fan of chicken pies, but it's a pie. Now it's a chicken. What is it? Chicken. I wrote it down somewhere. It's a chicken, bacon, and mushroom pie. I like bacon. I like mushrooms. So maybe we can forget the chicken. I don't mind chicken, but just not in a pie normally. But anyway, without further ado, look at this. I know you've seen it on the thumbnail, but look at that. It's massive, and it comes in a really nice little cardboard box. That's going to earn them points later on. I know it is. However, the downside is this is the most expensive pie we've ever purchased at $9.50. That's nearly $10 for a pie. It better be bloody good. That's all I can say. We'll get it in the pie warmer shortly. So, who else have we got? Mike Bazansky, 6-seater. The minivan of ROVs. It's massive and it's really heavy. Has exactly the same running gear as the smaller version. Don't want to give too much away. Same engine size, same drivetrain, just longer prop shaft at the front. Same size radiator, same cooling fan. In fact, I've not even checked the cooling fan yet. Both those other two RRVs that I serviced, both of the cooling fans were completely seized solid. Remember, these vehicles have pretty much been parked up for a few months. And of course, any moisture that's inside the motor basically causes corrosion, and the bearings seize, and that's the end of the fan, basically, the end of the fan motor. Couldn't get genuines, had to use aftermarket, managed to source aftermarket after Repco completely messed up my order twice. Finally got them just in time, got those fitted, and all good. But so I've not checked this cooling fan, so maybe I should do that today, get a heads up. I have got 2 more aftermarket fans on order, just for stock, because again, parts are getting harder to get to come by at the moment, so I need to start to stockpile a bit. Brian Moore, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Brian. Welcome back to the workshop, sir. Jim Kay, good morning. Good morning, Jim. Jim, serious apologies. I know you tried to ring me yesterday. My work phone was in my ute, as it always is on a weekend, so sincere apologies there, sir. And in all honesty, I was under an ROV, pulling it apart, and probably when you rang, taking the tray off the back and swearing profusely, because one of the pivot pins, was absolutely seized solid, to the point where it started to bend the bracket on the chassis. And it did bend the bracket on the chassis, and that was the only way of getting the tray off. And then I straightened the bracket back up. Yes. Sheldon. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Sheldon. And crew. Look at that, big wave. Morning, Sheldon. I've put the rest of your mill back together. It's just there. And I've put some wheels on it so I can move it around. It's brilliant. Simon. R.E. Pies. Seen a Yorkshire shepherd's pie. It's pie, shepherd's pie, stuffed Yorkshire pie. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I would definitely have one of those. I really like Yorkshire puddings. I like toad in the hole, which is sausages embedded and cooked in the Yorkshire pudding mixture to create like an embedded type of sausage and Yorkshire puddingy thing with gravy. It's very nice. And if you go to Hawes in the Yorkshire Dales, and they may do them elsewhere as well, but there's a nice pub there that does what they call a trencher. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? A trencher is a full-size dinner plate size Yorkshire pudding, massive, with gravy and sausages and vegetables and all sorts of stuff inside and loose, floating around in this sort of pond in this giant Yorkshire pudding. Very, very tasty. Biggest problem with those, when logistically wise, when you're actually eating it, is when you break the side of the Yorkshire pudding. Of course, you've got a flood of gravy that comes out, so you've got to try and eat as much as you can, on the base, leaving the walls in place until the level of gravy's dropped. Otherwise, well, it overflows. Found that out the hard way the first time I had one, but very, very tasty. Maybe one day I might have another one. Who knows? Jim K. Hey, Andy, I'm putting both of those machines together right now. Good job, matey. At least you're not having to deal with rust like I am at the moment. I really seem to have drawn the short straw 3 times in a row on these last 3 ROVs. They have been horrendous. Lots of seized bolts, lots of just the heads of the bolts just corrode away, so you can't get a socket on them. And sometimes they're down quite a, they're not that accessible, so you got to drill them out, and it's all that takes extra time. And I am really tired. You can probably tell that in my voice at the moment. But it's urgent. Those other 2 had to get back because they were in service. They needed them back at the surf clubs to do the patrols. So it was a force majeure. It had to be done, and I was against the clock. And again, I've got to time everything just right with the COVID tests. Don't want to talk about that too much at all, because that might be the reason why that previous live stream was taken down. I don't know. But you've got to wait 3 days before you can actually cross the border after you've had the tests. So, there's a logistical element to all that in the background as well. So if I missed that window, it would have been another week before I could go up. Simon, toad in the hole and onion gravy. That's exactly right. It's just awesome. Dave123. Hey, Andy. Any CB750 videos coming out this week? No. No, it's just there on the hoist. Take it up on hoist as always. Got all the parts. Seriously, I have no time whatsoever. It's been 6 hours of kip a night, if I'm lucky. Getting all the admin work done as early as I can in the morning and again in the evenings, and so afternoons on ROVs, and it's just been a conveyor belt of work, to be honest. And it feels like somebody's turning the speed up. And it always seems to happen this time of year, you know. And I've got a lot of fabrication work to do. And again, you'll see all that. I've collected the laser cut. It's all on the bench ready. We've done a count up. It appears we're one part short, but that might be down to the counting. So we're going to double check when we start the work on those. It's not the end of the world. I did order a few spares, so we can still produce the full order with what we've got. So that's, as long as I don't make too many mistakes. Need some sleep. So sorry, Dave, there won't be any more CB750 videos for a few weeks, in all honesty. I've got to get caught up. Now they Roger heaps. At least things are looking good. Looking up for the DR200 trip. They are. We were discussing that yesterday, actually. We've got everything we need for it, apart from that Garmin Overlander GPS. The dealer, the company I purchased it from, it seemed to have gone to ground. They're not replying to my emails. They're not getting back to me. So I don't know what's going on there. I do know the guy, so I just need to chase that up next week. If they're not going to supply it, then I'll have to just get a refund. It's a bit of a shame because it would allow me to link in all the gravel roads really well, seamlessly, because the GPS in the car is a bit crap, to be honest. It sends you down stuff that isn't public roads, and it's only got a few of the gravel roads on it, so it's not really ideal. We'll have to resort to using the old school maps, which we're actually very good at, growing up with maps. So yes, Roger, things are still definitely on at the moment. Simon Roll for the blots. Hang on, for the blots with the bolts for the you set me up every time, Simon. For the bolts with the corroded heads, Blue Point BX13A. That's obviously a little. Is it a socket? Let's have a look. Blue Point BX13A. Let's have a look. Always interested to find out. Oh, bolt extractor set. There we go. Look, images. You guys want to see this, don't you? Right, I'll turn you around. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Look at that. Is it going to open it up? I don't know. Maybe. This is live. Anything could happen. Oh, there we are. Look. Yeah. In all honesty, Simon, I don't even think I get in with that. It's a real narrow gap, like a little tunnel I have to get down. So drilling it out was the only option, unfortunately, and it was holding a plastic cover on, so I've got to keep the heat down as well when I'm drilling. But yeah, I need to get one of those. I do, or something like it, without a doubt. I always seem to muddle through and get the job done. I don't always have all the tools to hand, and sometimes in the videos, you know, it's quite. A lot of the viewers that watch the videos, you know, are trying to pick up tips and tricks and stuff, which is what it's all about. And if you've got all the tools, all the special tools to do stuff, you tend to quickly overlook the using basic tools to do the same job. Yes, it might take a bit longer, but I don't mind too much, to be honest. I try to keep things as simple as I can, just using the basic tools. Oh, come back live stream. Where are you? There we go. Carlos, morning Andy, and all viewers from around the world. That was a great comment, Carlos. Thank you very much. Roger Heaps, oh mate, got to test drive the new V6 Land Cruiser. Very impressed. When can I get one? 2023. I've got my eye on one of those. I absolutely have. It's going to happen one day. I won't have the Ford Ranger forever, obviously. And a lot of companies these days are trying to push towards these they call them the environmentally friendly vehicles. As we all know that they're not. More often than not, they're not. Electric stuff. And to do what I do, there is absolutely no way that an electric vehicle, or even a hybrid, to be honest, would function the way I need it to function. You know, you can't drive from here to Queenstown in a day and a half in a hybrid or certainly an electric vehicle. is impossible. It won't do it. You've got that many stops to recharge. It'll probably take you about a week to get down there. Just not practical. And of course, towing a trailer, definitely not. So yeah, not so good really. Right, so let's go and stick this pie in the pie warmer. One last look before we cook it. In fact, I'll take it out of the box. Here we go. Look at the size of it. I'm going to be absolutely stuffed by the end of today. Look at that. Absolute monster of a pie. And it's heavy. I mean, it's a lot heavier than a normal pie, to be honest. Probably about 300 grams. And it's cooked to perfection. The base, listen to that. Base is good and hard. It's well sealed. There's a lot of pastry. And there's probably a hell of a lot of filling in there. I imagine the top's probably more puff pastry than anything else. But looks phenomenal. Well made. I like that. Right, let's go for a wander. Let's go and find that pie warmer. Turning you around. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Look, CB750. Looking sad. It's not so good, is it? Right, where are we going? Ah, Sheldon's Mill. Look at that. On wheels. It's a little bit precarious pushing it around, but it is mobile, and I've raised it right up. And I've put the Russian, I made in Russia, look at that. Made in the USSR. Phenomenal. I have something to show you on that actually, Sheldon. I know you're watching. I don't think it was you that did it, but somebody has. Right. Okay, pie warmer is open. Holy moly, is it going to fit in? Oh, and he just, look at that. Hang on, we're gonna have to come down one. It's so bloody big. Bear with me, people. Oh. God. To go down a level. Hopefully we won't burn the. Oh no, it won't fit in. Here we are. Jeez, that's not so good. I reckon it might burn the base doing that. Hang on, let's put that in there. Will that fit in there? You can tell I'm not a cook. Right, there. It's in. It's on. It's cooking. Bloody good. Right. While that's cooking, let's have a look at this. Where's my handle? I found this in the box. What the hell is this for? It doesn't fit anything, but actually it does. It fits on the vise. And it's a massive vise. Look, that's the size of my hand. Look at the vise. It's huge. Bloody good. So I've cleaned up the threads and I've oiled it. If you open it up here, look. Sheldon's going, don't do it, Andy, don't do it. I have to do it. Look at this. Look at that. What's going on? How can you miss that much? Look, huge, great gouges on both sides. If I turn the threads around as well, look. Look, even the threads. I mean, it still functions absolutely fine, but God, when I was at school, we were using the pillar drill. If we did that to the vise, man, we used to get some serious grief from the teacher. Wow. I mean, you get some massive stuff in it. Let's have a measure up, actually. I've not actually put a ruler on it. It does move nicely, I must admit. Right, we're probably about there. That's the stop. Let's get a ruler or a tape. There we go. Look, there's a tape. What have we got? Wow, 205 millimeters. That's massive. I mean, you compare that to my other one, look. This will be fun. Hang on. Bear with me. You'll like this. Look at that. It's tiny. Awesome. I was just amazed, actually, when you look at what I've been using for years and you've got this. It's just different world, isn't it? Good job. That'll do. We'll stick that on there. Look, perfect. So yes, very, very happy. Oh, it does work. Look, if I turn it on, look at that. Bloody good. You can't see a lot moving apart from the chuck, obviously. And it's got the forwards and reverse on there, look. Bloody good. Made in Taiwan, I think it is. Benning. And we've got a, oh, there's some cutters came with it. Hang on, I'll show you the cutters. Sheldon has seen all this and he's used these for years, but I'll put them in here, look. Let's have a look at these. These are cool. Right, just going to move you down a bit. Terrible camera work, Andy. Terrible camera work. Right, you're wobbling around a bit. So we've got this one. This is awesome. I like this. So this is sort of your, looks like your standard bits. So I'm learning with a milling machine, so you've got to bear with me. Don't know all the terminology. But basically, stay there. Basically, this is really well machined, actually. So it goes in and then basically it gets compressed, a bit like a garden hose fitting, and it clamps the bit that you've got in the middle. And there's two different ones of those. There's that one, and then there's this one, size 16, yeah, 32, obviously, collet. So there you go, tells us what it's called now. It's called a collet. Look at that, so that's for larger bits. Fits the same master, I suppose you'd call it. Stick that in there. Stick that in there. Stick that back on there. Oh, nearly. Didn't cross thread it. No, there we go. Right, and then there's this, look at the size of this cutter here. It's a monster. That makes the only one I've got, but it's a monster. So I should be doing some chips one day when I get time. Have a bit of a play with it. But yeah, very, very, very impressed. So thank you again, Sheldon. Very, very grateful for that. Right. Oh, you've seen the steel work. Let's go look at the steel work. Bum, 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 bum. So I've still got 15 sets of front suspension braces to get made up at some point. And now there's enough here to make 50 kits. So there's 2 of these large plates per kit, 2 of those, 2 of those, and 4 of those. And that's the one that when we're missing one of those, there's only 203, there should be 204. But yeah, they did a great job though. Look at that. And they were a week late because the folding guy was ill. I don't know if he had COVID or not. Anyway, he was poorly. But 3.31 degree fold, pretty good. Happy with that. And the same with those, 3.31 degree fold at each end. These are dead flat, and this is just a 90 degree fold, basically. Look at those, the little slot. All the holes need a final drill, and these all need to be countersunk, so I've got a ton of countersinking work to do. But I might be using the uprated drilling, the uprated milling pillar drill for that one. That should be pretty cool, using that. Keep the place nice and flat, that's for sure. And there'll be a lot less give in that than there is my normal pillar drill, which means I can set the depth of the countersunk bit, and it should be more accurate. That's the plan. So I'm going to put it to some use, Sheldon. It's got quite a bit of work to do shortly. Bloody good. Right, back to the bench. Jeez. Andy's camera work's terrible. There we go. How's that? Is that going to work? A little bit low. A little bit low, he says. Right, there we go. Right. So, pie's cooking. It's not on any kind of flammable material, which is good. Where did we get to? Carlos done that with Roger. Yes, Land Cruiser. Now, Vivi, I have no idea what you've written there. My sincere apologies. I don't speak Russian, so I can't comment. Sorry, but thanks for commenting. Do appreciate it. Sheldon, wasn't my doing. I should hope not, mate. You're an engineer. You should know not to do that kind of stuff. That's just abuse, isn't it? It's terrible. Anyway, it's all right. It still works. Simon, well, you have Ben's TIG to fix the vise and the mill to finish it. Yeah, to be fair, cast iron, I've not really welded much over the years. And I remember actually as a kid, I had a vise on the bench in my first ever shed at Mum's house, at Park House in Sheriff Hutton, we used to live. And it was a little 12-foot by 8-foot wooden shed that she bought me for my birthday one year. I'd have been about 12 or 13, I suppose, when I got that shed. And I'd bought a vice. It wasn't a record vice. Couldn't afford a record vice. I was only a kid, to be honest. And one day I was doing something. I was making something, and I made the mistake. I think I was either clamping something up really tight in the vice, or pressing a bearing in, or something like that, where there was extreme force going on. And first, the rookie mistake, I didn't put the item in the center of the jaws. It was on one side, not completely on one side, but it wasn't central. So when I cranked it up, it caused a twisting motion on the vice, and it cracked the back of the vice off. If I show you on the record, down here, look, bear with me. Oh, geez, golly, bear with me. So it broke the vice off along here. This whole top piece broke away. So I ground it all out and got the old stick welder out. And I knew how to weld, I knew how to join two pieces of metal together back then. And I just sort of filled it all in with weld, and then ground it back and filled it all in again. And then thought, oh, I fixed it. So I painted it all up and stuff, and I thought I'd done a great job. And I came to use the vice, and it worked okay for a couple of weeks. And then again, I used it for something which I really had to put some force on, and it just broke clean off again. It broke across the edge of the weld. So, oh man, yeah, it's cast iron. That's different to normal steel. Can't weld it. So anyway, I welded it all back up, and and I thought, well, I need to brace it somehow. So I got some big, thick angle iron and stuff, and I made a brace. I can't remember how I did it exactly, but I had some kind of bracing around the vice, the bit that broke off, and against the shed wall. Now, bearing in mind, the shed's made out of wood, so I wasn't really thinking structurally about the whole picture. But believe it or not, that vice lasted like that since I moved out. It never broke again, so I must have done something right. But it looked a real Heath Robinson job, to be honest, and there was bits of angle iron all over the place, just trying to hold that top piece down. And I think maybe I was a little bit more, ginger with the use of that particular vice. And then I got a bigger shed next door. I bought a big shed for £80, and we assembled all that. It was a second-hand one. Assembled all that, and I bought a record vice for in there. So the one in the little shed didn't really get much use anyway from that point on. So somebody will have looked at it and gone, what the hell? But it worked, But yeah, not very good at welding cast iron. Have to give it a go though, won't we? One day. Carlos, Andy, which shop did Mrs. Mechanic get the pie from, please? Very good point. Forgot to mention it. It's a village down the road. I won't give too much away. It's not too far from here. It's called Attersbar. ATA'S. Attersbar. And it's a bar and a cafe type place. That we are on standby for if they get a steak and cheese come in. So if they do get a steak and cheese, Mrs. Mechanic will whiz out and get it. We'll chuck it in the fridge or in the freezer, depending on what day it is. And we will definitely be doing, I want to go and check a pie actually. We'll definitely be doing a pie review on a steak and cheese one day from them, because at $9.50, it should be phenomenal, shouldn't it, to be honest? Harry Darg. Harry, morning, Harry. If you get busy, you should be able to have all of them done in 45 minutes. Yeah, probably about a week and 45 minutes, to be honest. There's a lot of work there. And again, they're urgent, and they all need to be sprayed as well once they're done, and then all the kits need to be assembled. So it is probably, I wouldn't know, it's not the biggest job I've ever done as regards fabricating up kits like this. We had a guy that did roof repairs. This is going back probably about 10 years ago. And in New Zealand, they've got to put like scaffolding around the edge of the roof so people don't fall off when they're working on the roof. And his scaffolding was like bespoke. He'd sort of designed it all from box section and stuff. And he came to me and said, hey, can you make me 1,000 of these brackets? And I went, geez, that's a big job. He says, I can do it, no problem. He says you've got a week to do it in. Bloody hell. And then he said, and he also did 1,000 of these brackets. And at that point, I realized that I'd bitten off way too much than I could chew. But we got some students down, because I was a lecturer at that time. We got some students down, and Ben was helping, and we worked through the night, every night. And we got 2,000 brackets made in a week. delivered back to him the following Monday, I think it was. Got them all finished at the weekend. They weren't painted, didn't need to be painted. They went to get like a zinc coating on them or something like that. But he was over the moon because the engineering company that he normally used for them, there was about a 6-week lead time on it, and he just got a big job come in and he needed the brackets. So yeah, he was very happy, and I felt we charged quite well for it. We did pretty well out of the job, but it took me a couple of weeks to recover from that. I was knackered, and the workshop, not this one, the workshop, which was only a normal double garage at that time, but a house we were at, was just destroyed. There was swarf and grinding stuff everywhere, and oh man, it was just a mess. And it cost me a fortune in pizzas for the students and beer. It did, but we got it all done. Mike Adams, howdy all. I'm late, but made it. Mike, it's not a problem. You don't need to apologize. I'm just grateful you're here. We've got 30 viewers at the moment and 17 likes, which means that 13 of you are not enjoying this video. Why are you here? That's my question. I don't know. So if you are enjoying it, click the thumbs up. It just dropped to 16, so somebody unliked it because I said that. That's great. Oh, did you know? In fact, hasn't YouTube now removed the unlike button? I think they have. A bit weird, but I mean, I don't usually get that many unlikes. Mostly likes, which is good. Could do with some more. Harry Dark, it's 70 degrees here in Florida now. Bloody hell. 70 degrees. Obviously Fahrenheit, otherwise you'd be dead. Cold coffee. So what else did we get? Well, we're jumping around a bit. Post. Just a bit dubious about my pie. I think the base might get a bit burnt because it's so close to the heating element at the bottom. But we'll have to go and check on it in a minute. So, believe it or not, John from the UK, John Nuttall, sent me this package quite some time ago. It was posted on, has it got the date? Yes. It was posted on the 15th of October. And it's now the 14th of November. So it took basically a month, just under a month, because I've had it in the car a couple of days. Just under a month to get here, which I suppose isn't too bad. It came by aeroplane. There we go. And Mr. Royal Mail did it for us, which is nice. And to be perfectly honest, it says on the back, 2 bike parts. Now, John has been instrumental, as a few of you have out there, in guiding me through the CB750 repairs. I'm not going to say it's a rebuild because it's not. It's just the repairs, the stuff that I've been doing on it. Been very, very helpful. And he said, oh, I'm going to send you one of these. And he says, but they come in 2, so you'll have to have a spare one or send me the other one back. I don't know what it was. But I've forgotten what it is. So we're going to have a look. Right. Let me make some space, because I know you like to watch me open the envelopes. I'll turn you around. Dum, 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 dum. Right, there we go. Look, that works. Okay, we're going in. Just going to snip the end off. Slice the end off with the blunt blade. What have we got in here? Ooh, there's stuff. To camera, Andy, to camera. Oh my word. Right. Anything else? Nope, that's it for the envelope. And I always keep the envelopes. I've got loads of envelopes now in the cupboard. It's all like memorabilia, isn't it? History of the channel. Now, can I show all of this? I don't know yet. This is all live TV, so I'm gonna have to go a quick sneaky peek first and see what we've got. Oh my word. Okay. Right, we'll come to that. Okay, has he put his address on here? He hasn't. Well done, John. John says, hi Andy. For the 2 bulb holders are Honda, but not off a K2. Interesting. Yes, the bulb holders are going to be a problem. I have bought new ones, but they came with no internals. It was just the rubbers, which is a bit weird. But I think they're all the same, exclamation mark. Just check the length. First, with one from Alan's other clock. I have also sent a page I came across from Honda UK, CB750 clutch noise. I thought you might like this, like to share this with your other fans on your CB750 adventures. So we'll definitely include that in one of the proper CB750 videos. Have fun, John Nuttall. Well, thank you, John. I do really appreciate all the work that you go to in keeping me on the straight and narrow. I don't know that much about CB750s. This is the first one I've ever worked on. John, these are exactly what I need, because when I ordered them from David Silver, they only sent the rubbers that these sit in. So now we've got everything we need to install the correct bulbs and holders and stuff into the clocks, because one of them is completely missing from memory. So that is fantastic. Look at that. Original stuff as well. Good job. Again, thank you very much, John. Really, really appreciate that. They will go in the CB750 parts drawer as soon as the live stream is over. Right, now, this is the document that John sent through for the clutch noise. And it's obviously information that Honda release, basically like a technical bulletin that goes out. CB750 clutch noise. We have now received information in respect of overcoming the noisy clutch in the CB750. The suggested cure, I like that, suggested cure for this problem is a GL clutch plate, part number 22322-371-313. One friction disc and one metal plate must be removed from the clutch assembly as per the illustration shown below. The method of reassembly is also shown. So there you go, look. That's what we need to do. Well, if we're going to do it to this bike, I don't know yet. Now that Alan's seen this, he probably will want it doing. So you've got to remove those two, and it slots in just there, look. Interesting. I haven't ridden the bike, so I don't know if it's got a clutch noise or not. And it might have already had this fix done. So this was released, look at this, on the 1st of July, 1976. Bloody hell. From Honda UK Limited. Very, very cool. Thank you, John. That will definitely go in the box in the drawer as well, and we'll be covering that at some point, I'm sure. Alan will probably want it doing, so that's another job, and more parts. Who knows? Geez, it'll never leave the workshop, will it, at this rate? So many jobs to do. What else? Is that pie burning yet? No, it's not on fire, so we're all right. What else did we get? Well, I got some supplies from Forge. Pretty much run out of brake cleaner. Black Magic is really good for ignition switches and that kind of thing. It's a graphite-based lubricant, and the carrier just evaporates away, leaving the graphite. So it's really good for use in dusty environments and stuff as well. So I like that. S411. Not a sponsor, but, well, they do support the channel, but I wouldn't call them sponsors to the channel. Full service spray, I got a couple of those, and of course the spray grease as well. This is a really good spray grease because it's quite fine, quite runny, and it penetrates quite well compared to other spray greases. I have a CRC one that I use, which doesn't penetrate at all. It just sits on the surface and sort of seals things up, which I suppose is what I use it for. But it's nice to have a couple of different ones. Now, kill switch. That's about the same angle my back was in this morning, Harry. Lol. Oh, God. Mike Adams, I know hindsight is 2020, but sometimes I kind of wish I'd gotten more welding practice outside of high school, general metals class, not for a career, but just for DIY life experience. I can tell you now that even if you'd only had 5 minutes welding experience at school, you will have had far more than any of the school children that are out there in this current generation. All that kind of metalworky stuff, certainly here in New Zealand, has just gone by the wayside. They don't teach it anymore. So those kids are going into life and they don't have any of those kind of skills. They have no idea. So of course they have to pay a tradesperson to do whatever they want or whatever they need doing, and it costs them a fortune. The welding experience that I've got, and it is just experience. I've done a lot of welding over the years. I try not to do too much if I can help it, because it knackers my eyes up. And I can't see that well anymore, to be honest. I've got the flickable, mask and stuff, and it certainly helps. So once I get into a groove, I'm fine. and I can weld pretty well. It looks tidy. It does the job. The beams haven't fallen down yet, which is obviously testament to that. But I wouldn't by any means say that I'm a proficient welder in all subjects. Pie. I mean, gas welding. Don't do it. You've done gas axing before. Welded some aluminium. Did a cattle box with a friend of mine years ago in the UK with a MIG. But mainly it's steel work, and a lot of it over the years, and repair patches on sills and bodywork. I mean, I'm not really a bodywork kind of a guy. I tend to just make it work. Is it structurally strong? Yes, it works. Does it look nice? Probably not. I've done a couple of videos over the years on putting patches on the old Patrol, and the grief, the ridicule I got on some of the comments, obviously from, you know, fully qualified panel beaters, which is quite justified, to be honest. You know, it was like, well, man, I'm not going to do any more of these videos. No way. I'll just do the repair and not bother filming it. But that's just the way it is. We're all good at our own sort of niche areas, aren't we? Harry Darg, I worked on my 2003 Dodge Dakota all week and went to town. I was making a left turn. I had the green arrow, and an old, I think an old lady runs the light from the other side and rear ends me. Man, I was mad. I bet you were. But most likely her car came off a lot worse than your truck. But seriously, you put all that effort in and then somebody does that. Bugger. Mike Adams, Harry Darg, sounds like your luck is as good as mine on things, lol. Some people have all the luck, don't they? I'm told that I'm a very lucky chap. But I do know other people where if it can go wrong, it does go wrong for them every single time. And you feel sorry for them. Like, you know, it's like, that guy needs a break. Sheldon, while on bulb topic, what do you use for instrument bulbs? T10, 12 volt, 1.7 watt is what is supposed to be used, but I can't find any. Just 3 watt. I guess won't be as bright. You've got 1.7 watt as the standard. 3 watt bulbs are brighter than 1.7s. So it'll be bright. Just get what you can. I mean, I don't think there'll be a lot of difference in heat output between those two. But yeah, use what you can, Sheldon. Bulb wattages here in New Zealand tend to be a little bit different to what they are in the UK. For example, indicator bulbs. I often come across 23 watt indicator bulbs, not 21 watt. You know, brake stoplight bulbs, 5 watt for your, you know, for your normal tail light, and again 23 watt for your brake light, whereas UK 21 watt. And there's a huge, because we get vehicles from all over the world in New Zealand, there's a huge range of bulbs available, but sometimes not the one that you want. I remember when I was doing the DR200 indicators, I couldn't be, okay, I was using indicators off what should have been a 6 volt bike and putting them on a 12 volt bike, and I had to change the bulbs, but hey, you know, it's a bulb holder with an orange lens, that's all that matters. But I couldn't find exactly the bulb that I wanted, but I was doing something a bit abstract. And hey, they work fine. They're nice and bright, they work. It'll pass a warrant of fitness. It doesn't matter. The guy doesn't need to know that it's the bulb wattage is substantially lower than what it should be. Shh, don't tell him. Simon, Sheldon Rush, here we go, look. T10, 12 watt, 1.7 watts LED, or part number 32P-H3517-00. You see? You guys help me out, always. To me, a bulb's a bulb. If it works, that you're halfway there, aren't you? Sheldon Rush, thanks, Simon. We'll check it out. You see, Sheldon, if you hadn't logged in this morning for the live stream, you wouldn't have had Simon's help. It's brilliant. Right, I think it's pie time. Oh, do you like my mug? I think Mrs. Mechanic bought me this years ago for Christmas. Look at that. You might have seen it on previous videos. I like it a lot. Obviously prefer my mugs, but you know. Right. Let's go and get this pie. Pie time. Dum 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 dum. Bloody mill's in the way. It's always in the way. I have to keep pushing it around. Right. Is it burnt? I don't know. Is it going to be hot? It's going to be bloody hot. Okay. Oh, it hasn't burnt at all. That, jeez, it's hot. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna burn my fingers now. Holy crap! We'll put it on the heatsink. That'll cool it down. Now I did brake clean this down yesterday. It is clean. It's probably got some brake cleaner residue on it, but you know, that should add to the flavour. Oh man, I'm feeling it today. This is day, oh God, what day is this one? When did I start on the ROVs? Was it Saturday? Yes, it would have been Saturday last week. This is day 8. And there's still a lot of work to do. We were working on the brake calipers yesterday. Well, I stripped them all down, and they were the worst ones yet. To be perfectly honest, if I hadn't had that kit, the brake caliper piston extractor kit, which is over here. Simon knows what I'm on about. Sheldon, I hope you've got one of these. If you haven't got one of these, here, look. If you haven't got one of these, Sheldon, you have to get one, because you'll be using it all the time. It is absolutely brilliant. I use it every single time now. I just go straight to this. One thing I would say is that sometimes, yesterday I could have done a larger slide hammer on there, but I need to make up an adapter which will fit onto the end of there off my big slide hammer. But that's a rainy day project, is that one. We'll get there. And when I have the MIG out next. But it is really good. You've got loads of different sizes. That's for the rear calipers, and that's a 22 that I use. And for the front calipers, larger pistons, it's a 27 by the looks of that. Yeah, 27. My eyesight's crap. Right. Oh, wrong way around, Mr. Young. There we are. Keep it tidy. But yes, worth its weight in gold. It really is. So if you haven't got one of those, you have to get one, Sheldon. Standard workshop equipment as far as I'm concerned. Right. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Oh, yeah, really feeling it. So those calipers are all stripped. Mrs. Mechanics cleaned them all up. The pad carrier, that's the steel bit the pad sits in, the inner pad sits in. They all need to be either just wire brushed and painted because they're quite badly corroded. They'll be getting new pistons and seal kits. They'll be getting new brake pads in because all the brake pads, because the brakes have been binding on big time. I mean, the vehicle hardly drove in high ratio. You had to put it in low. All the brake pads were about 0.5 mil from hitting metal. They were extremely lucky they hadn't damaged any brake discs. And this vehicle's going to get sold, so I can't spend too much on it. But it needs a front shock on it because that's leaking. It needs, what else does it need? Mass cylinder needs stripping down at least because it's not returning fully to its stop, and that's why the brakes are sticking on when you apply the brakes. So that needs to be fixed. One of the seat belts, and it's obviously got 6 seat belts, one of them just completely doesn't work at all. It's just corroded away internally. It doesn't retract and doesn't stop. You know, when you pull on the webbing, so it's junk. Needs a new one. Seat belts are important. They've got to work. It's all part of a service. CVT drive to overhaul. Got to weld up the bracket for the exhaust. I've got to do something with the tray. They may just say, hey, just put it back on, let it go out because they're going to sell it, let it go as it is. Or they might say, hey, can you fix it? In which case I need to get some steel in. I'll have to get some 3mm plate steel, put it on 8x4 sheets, and just go to town and just completely refabricate the whole base of that tray, which is easy enough. I can easily do it. It's just time. That'll be another day and a half's work, and a huge cost to the club, over and above the normal servicing costs. And they're going to sell it. How are they going to get the money back? I don't know. They may decide just to leave it as it is. I hope they do, actually. I hate to see stuff go out like that, but because they're not going to be using it, and they won't be able to use it, then it is what it is. Anyway, has the pie cooled down? No, it's about as hot as the sun at the moment, but we'll have a little look. Look at this, all cooked and ready to be troughed. It's in extremely good condition. We've got a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a crack, it's just like a mark in the pastry. But it might cause failure later. There's another one there, look, you see, another mark. Maybe just where the tongs have gone on to move them around when they've been making them. But wow, I mean, look at that. It's as big as my head. It's massive, look. It's a massive pie. I'm going to get no work done today at all. Nice. Okay, let's try and make some space. Need that later on. Get rid of the ashtray. I even got a live stream notes today. Look, took stuff to talk about, which is pretty cool. Okay. This might end in disaster because it is extremely hot. I might have to abort mission. Just go back to the comments for a bit, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to go in. We've got, it's actually quite weird. We've got slight movement. Oh, look at that on the camera. We've got slight movement top to side. There's a little bit of movement there, look, which is a bit weird. Never seen that on a pie before. It's sort of a fully floating top cap. Holy shit. Wow. Look at that. It's crazy how big this pie is. It could be a long live stream. We're on 56 minutes already. God. Okay, comments. Connor K. Yes, it appears that there is a big decline in trades training starting at high school. Look at how many people, even in their 30s, who can't change a tire. Yeah, I mean, I think in English they can't even change a wheel, fit the spare wheel on the car. They just ring the AA or the breakdown people or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? That should be standard part of your driving test, changing a wheel at the side of the road. There's a massive chunk of chicken just there, look. I do like pies with big chunks of meat in them. I mean, obviously, not one massive chunk of meat, but, you know, it's got to be edible or manageable. Wow. That is awesome. That was a full mouthful of just chicken. And it doesn't taste like your normal sort of chicken pie. It's proper chicken that tastes like real chicken. It doesn't have that weird pie taste to it. That was brilliant. You guys are really missing out. This is an excellent pie. This might just be one of my favorite, even though it's not steak and cheese. I mean, God, if the chicken one is this good, how good is the steak and cheese going to be? I might have to just fill the freezer with their pies and just have done with the whole pieology thing. Wow. Okay. Having a look. I mean, look at that. That's a proper Desperate Dan pie, isn't it? That's what Mrs. Mechanic called it. I found you a Desperate Dan pie, and this is it. It's brilliant. Wow. And despite being such a massive pie, I can still eat it just with one hand. It's not falling apart yet. So its structure's really good. So, taste stroke flavor. 10. Has to be a 10. It's awesome. I know it's chicken, and I really was thinking, oh, it's gonna be chicken. It's not gonna. I mean, I'm not a big chicken pie fan. I really aren't. But this has set a whole new standard. It's brilliant. And it really is a pie and a half. So we're about halfway. Structure fully partners. It's doing incredibly well. I mean, it hasn't fallen apart. It's just exactly how a pie should be. Would you drive eating this? I think the only downside would be the sheer fact it's so big. But yes, I think you could probably drive. Should you decide to break the law, and that's your choice, not mine, you could probably drive whilst eating this pie. But I can't recommend that or endorse it for obvious reasons. Right. Structure Foley Partners. It's perfect. I'm going to give it a 10. Wow. Runnability. Okay, this is 45 degrees, and don't forget, this is still really hot. It actually feels hotter on the outside than it is the inside, which is fine. 45 degrees. Let's see if we get any kind of contents run. Okay, we're about horizontal there. Gonna tilt it down. Okay, we're on about 45 degrees. We're gonna hold it there for a second. Don't want to lose any content. Oh, we've got a little bit of run. There he is. Look, can you see that? Okay, it's not bad. It's not just gone thump straight out. It was a controlled run, and you know, hopefully, would have spotted that. So, look at that. That's a pie. And there's mushroom and there's bacon in there. It's bloody good. And there's cheese, definitely cheese in there. Runnability. It's not perfect. 8. I think an 8. I think it's pretty good. Meat quality. It's a 10. The meat is, it's like someone's got a chicken breast, cooked it, or just chopped it up and put it in the pie. It's just real proper chicken. Pie to crust ratio. Bearing in mind, this is a big pie. We do have quite a bit of crust around the, around that sort of nippy up, foldy joint bit around the side, but it's not bad, to be honest. It actually adds to the flavour. And because the pie is bigger, we've got a lot more volume, probably about twice the volume to a standard pie. So it's really, really good. It is. Pie to crust ratio. Sorry, contents to pastry ratio, I suppose you'd call that. It's bloody good. It is. 9 or a 10? I think a 10. I think a 10. Sorry. Now, availability logistics. This pie is only available at Atta's Bar, which is in a village not too far from here. You can't get this pie anywhere else. They are all individually handmade. So, it's not going to score too well on that, is it? You can't order them online. You've got to go to Atta's Bar if you want one of these. And if you're in Kaitaia, or if you're in Invercargill, it's a bit of a trek, isn't it? You know, if you get that sudden urge for an Atta's pie, well, you can't have one. Another massive chunk of really nice chicken. So, I can't remember what we gave the other ones. Can anybody remember what we gave as regards availability logistics for the pie in Culverden? That was a very similar thing, wasn't it? And Toad Hall as well. What did they get? I think it was quite a low score. Was it a 1? I think it was a 1. I'm going to go a 1. Unfortunately. Oh, pastry taste rating. Okay, we're going to try the top first because there's 2 types of pastry on here by the looks of it. We've got like a flaky pastry lid. Oh, Mr. Mouse. He's just there, look. Oh, he's gone. I was going to put him on camera for you then. That's all right. It's not 100%. There's a little bit of almost like a bitter kind of aftertaste to the lid. Let's just try a bit of the side now. This is the crunchy, nippy up bit around the side. Much more gooey, that pastry, but crispy on the outside. That's good. I like that. Okay, so pastry. Give it a 9. Really good. Proper pastry. Still tasty when cold. I have no idea yet. We'll come back to that one. Packaging design. Well, all the writing on the box is what I've put on, obviously, so we can't count that. It's just an off-the-shelf cardboard box, but it is a cardboard box. It protects the big pie you've just bought. And all the hard work they've put into making it look nice for you. Putting it in a paper bag, things just tend to sweat, and all the grease gets on the bag. And there would be a bit of grease out of this one, although it's not bad. I mean, my fingers are, let me be a little bit on that finger there. We've got a bit of grease, but the base isn't greasy. But a pie like this does not justify being put in a paper bag. It doesn't. They've put some thought into it. They want you to respect their pie because they've got the box to prove it. So, packaging design. Well, somebody will have spent a long time designing that box. Yes, I know it. They probably just bought them in. They won't have designed them themselves. But they've gone out and they've sourced the box. They've made an effort to go and find the boxes to basically, present their pies in when you take them away. Almost like a little present. There you are. There's the pie. Look after it. Enjoy it. We're proud of it. I like that. There's no printing whatsoever on there. But there's a lot of thought gone into the fact, let's use a box. And I like that. So, what do you reckon? 6? I think a 6. Maybe a 7. No, a 6. I'm torn. Oh, burp. Right, recyclable score. Well, it's just cardboard. It's 100% recyclable, but they don't tell us it is. There's no recyclable symbol on there. So, they only get a 9. A 9 for that. If it had a little recycle symbol on there or some wording saying, can be recycled, cardboard, whatever, then they'd have got the full 10. Post pie heartburn factor. It's too early to tell. There was a burp. We'll find out later on. Stuffability score and pie server attractiveness. Now, Mrs. Mechanic picked up this pie for me, and she rated the pie server, and she rated the server as a 7. Slim, well presented, makeup, big smile, made Mrs. Mechanic feel very welcome. She gets a 7 for that. Well done. I like that. It's all about the presentation and the environment, the whole experience of buying the pie. Quite unlike the cafe in Springfield in the South Island. They're funny, they are. Right. Now, normally, by about this point, I've finished the pie. As you can see, there's a lot of pie left. Probably about a third. It's a big pie. It's a good pie. I think if it was a pie that I had every day, I'd need to buy bigger cloves. But for a special occasion, this is a brilliant pie. And what's better still, they're just down the road. It's not far away. Not for me. Man, these are good. Even makes the cold coffee taste good. Okay, look at that. Another look before I bite into it. Look at that. It's just awesome. Way. Another big chunk of chicken. I can't give the meat quality any more than a 10. It should get 11, really, shouldn't it? It's just phenomenal. Look at that. Another great chunk just waiting up there for me. This is the pie that just keeps on giving. It's great. Oh, and by the way, Atta's Bar is not a sponsor. I don't know who owns it. I've never been there. This review is completely unbiased. But, wow, what a pie. Unreal. Hey, Sheldon, I feel really badly for you guys. You can't have one of these. You're way too far away. I couldn't even bring you one down. I don't think so. I think it would take too long to get it there. Unless I sort of packed it in ice packs and stuff. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll bring you one down because you'd like this. Certainly the meat and cheese one. The steak and cheese. Still going. Okay, it's cooling down. Still tasty when cold. I don't know. Hard to say. It still tastes good now. It tasted better when it was a bit hotter. But it has got, I mean, okay, it's chicken, so you don't want to be leaving your chicken lying around for too long, just in the glove box, that's for sure. But, you know, if you were on the phone and it got cold and you had to answer the call, and by the time you finished, it had lost some of its heat, which would have had to be a very long phone call because it's got a hell of a heat capacity to it, heat retention. No. 5-second rule. I must admit the cardboard's looking a bit banky now. Oh, and there's a bit of swap up there, so luckily I didn't get any of that. Jeez. That's better. Right. This is just too much for one mouthful. Man, that's just an awesome pie. Still tasty when cold. We need to give it a number. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm not a great fan of cold chicken, but, you know, I think 7 reflects it. Post-pie heartburn. There's nothing yet. I feel very full, but I don't feel any heartburn. But there was a burp earlier on, so I'm going to give it a 9. And stuffability score. Wow. Sort of goes without saying, doesn't it? Today's going to be a slow day. You won't need any lunch. No lunch. No. It has to be a 10. I wouldn't want it to be any bigger than that. I am absolutely stuffed. What a breakfast. Good job, Atters Bar. Whoever made that pie did a bloody good job. It also goes to show just how good pie warmers are, because it did a great job of warming that pie up. There was no cold bits in it. It was just perfect. Okay, we need now to add up the scores. Here we go. Nom 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 nom. I wonder how it's going to do. I've no idea. Jeez. Camera work, Andy. Camera work. Oh, another burp. Okay, so straight away, 48, 49, 58, 65, 71, 80, 89, 99, 106. Is that right? 106. Bloody hell. I think that might be the highest score we've ever had. Let's find out. Okay, so Atters Bar. And this one was a chicken, bacon, and mushroom. Oh, and cheese. Obviously. Got to have the cheese in there. It's a New Zealand pie. And it got 106. Bloody hell. We have a new leader. Despite the fact that this pie is only available in one place in the whole of New Zealand. So the bottom line is, it can be done, people. Oh, I'm not going to move them all down. Sorry, Eric. I'll sort it out another day. It's going to go mental now. Right. Look at that. Oh, and the crazy thing is, it's not even a steak and cheese pie. That's mental. 106. Phenomenal. And don't forget, the maximum score, if you got 10 in everything, would be 130. So it's only lost 24 points through the whole survey. I'm blown away. I really, really, really did not expect that. Well done, Atters Bar people. Good job. Right, it's going to be time for a cigarette now. Where's Mrs. Mechanic? If you're watching, I really need another coffee. Can I order another coffee? Please. Right. Oh, golly gosh. I could sit here and chill with you guys all day because I know I've got a lot of work to get done. And I have to find the motivation to do it, to be honest. Right, so get rid of that. Oh, that was good. Stuffed. Okay, back to the comments. Lots and lots of comments again. Jeez, where are we? Where's the mouse gone? There he is. He's back. Okay. Scrolling up. Oh, you guys have been busy, haven't you? Oh, my word. Here we go. Right. Mike Bazanski. Getting a new ankle in a few... What? I'm getting a new ankle in a few months. Low side on a gravel road 11 years ago. Got to get a CT scan and they custom manufactured a joint for me. Looking forward to being pain-free. Mate, it's all part of riding motorcycles, isn't it? Wow. I remember years ago, we'd been cutting some posts, cutting the points off some stakes that go in the ground, probably about that sort of size. And we'd left them, they had been left very near to the bottom of the granary steps. And for some unknown reason, I had to run out of the granary. I was working in the granary, fixing probably a starter motor or something. Ran out of the granary, down the steps, and I used to launch myself off sort of the third or the fourth step from the bottom. So I did that, and I landed with my left ankle. I landed on one of those triangular sort of pyramid-shaped bits of timber, and instantly my ankle just went completely 90 degrees to the end of my leg. That's what it felt like. Man, the pain was unbelievable. And it even now to this day, if I'm on a bit of weird sort of undulating ground, or if I step on something that's like, you know, half or like a shelf, you know, a step or a rock or something, my ankle will easily just give way. It's almost like I've lost support in one particular direction, if you know what I mean. It's weird, but I've just sort of lived with it, to be honest. It's just the way it is, and I'm a lot more cautious where I step with my left foot. So yeah, ankles can really hurt, Mike. And well, good luck with the operation. You'll be like the Bionic Man by the time you're finished. Harry Dag, this is what I love about this channel. If you don't know something, you can just ask, and if someone knows the answer, they will help you, and they don't make fun of you. Absolutely not. There's none of that going on. It's a completely proactive, fun, enjoyable, social learning platform, I suppose. Portal. Community. There you go. Mike Adams. Connor K. Yeah, the young'uns don't realise that they need to learn these skills because we that do have the skills, we will all die out one day. That's exactly right, and we're seeing it, you know, in the motorcycle industry here in New Zealand already. You know, and since I've come to New Zealand, especially, you know, I've seen the skill set. I've seen, you know, what was your senior techs just leave. Either they've retired or they've moved into a different industry. I mean, there was one guy, Luke. Oh, somebody at the door. Hang on, bear with me. Oh, yes, coffee. Thanks, I think Mrs. Mechanic's watching the live stream. Hey, got me coffee. God, she's good. She's really good. Far too good for me, to be honest. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes, this one guy, Luke. He was a really good tech. Worked on a lot of the road bikes, R6s, R1s, you name it, all sorts of stuff. Hated ATVs, hated ROVs, so I did all of those. He did all the road bikes. And he moved to Gisborne in New Zealand, which is really far out on the east coast of the North Island, pretty much middle of frigging nowhere. It's just surrounded by sea, to be honest. It's a nice place, nice weather most of the time. But there wasn't a job for him over there. He thought that there might have been, but it was all farm vehicles and stuff. It's not road bike country really. So he got out of the motorcycle industry and he became a labourer on a building site and was earning a lot more money than he was as a senior motorcycle tech. There has to be something wrong there. It's just completely wrong. But he's a lot happier. You know, he's got a nice house. He fixes a few jet skis from, on a weekend at home, does a few home jobs, or he used to do. Don't know if he still does or not. I haven't seen him for a few years. I haven't been to Gisborne for a few years. Maybe one day I'll go if I have to go and visit a farm out there or something for whatever reason. And if I do, I'll definitely call in and see him for sure. Now then, where are we? Simon, hope you're not doing a day's work after that pie. You're going to need a nap. I'm already feeling it, Simon. I really am. Mike Adams, Mike Wazanski, wish you luck and a speedy, successful recovery on your upcoming surgery. Yeah, have I ever had surgery? I've had keyhole surgery on one of my knees. I forget which one now. I think it was my left knee. I fell off a push bike. I've been to pick up some steel and I bungeed it or strapped it to the top tube of the bike. And there was quite a bit of it. It was sticking out the back, sticking out the front, and it was pouring rain cycling back. And I hit either a cat's eye or a pothole or a manhole or something. And the front wheel just did that. It just, I mean, I was upright. I wasn't even turning a corner and it just went, gone. And I crashed down to the ground and I tore some of the cartilage. I'm sure it was my left knee. And they didn't want to do, the full-blown knee open job. So they did some keyhole surgery and chopped up the bit of cartilage that was floating around and causing my knee the joint to lock up. Sometimes I couldn't straighten my leg and I was in pain because the bit of cartilage was probably, somewhere in the joint kind of thing, and it was causing a problem. So they cut it all out and it was fine after that. But every now and again, if it's a cold day or something, it hurts a little bit, but hey, it's nothing really. So that's the only surgery have I got any wood? I haven't got any wood, but touch wood, you know what I mean? I'm sure there'll be some one day. Got to keep you going. No, I think we've done that one. Yes, we have. Kill Switch BB. Yes, Mike. Best of luck. Says Kill Switch. Simon, Mike Bazanski. Hope all goes well, mate, and a speedy recovery. Absolutely. Mike Adams. Eating and driving is a violation in New Zealand. It is. Believe it or not. As I understand the law, and I do read it now and again, you can pick your nose whilst driving. Absolutely. It's not illegal to do that. But if you eat it afterwards, which I don't, but some people do, if you eat it afterwards, you're breaking the law. That's what Mr. Policeman says. Mike Bazanski, thanks. I still own the KLR that tried to kill me that day. You can't get rid of that. It's history. Richard Asperger. Hi, Andy. That's a high-scoring pie. In fact, I think I have pie envy. It will go down in the history books. That was an amazing pie. And it's set a very, very high benchmark now, especially considering it's only available at one place in New Zealand. The steak and cheese, if they actually make a steak and cheese, I know they do a mince and cheese, but I'm not really a fan of mince. I prefer steak. Will that do better? I don't know. It's all about the pie on the day, isn't it? Alan Cook, hiya. Morning, Alan. Hope you're all good, matey. Welcome back to the workshop, and thanks for joining us. Laz Gyro Rider. What a name. Good morning. It's 10:43 p.m. here in, oh my God, Thessaloniki. Is that right? Thessaloniki, Greece. I've been to Lesbos. That's about as Greek as I've got. Oh, no, that's wrong. I've driven through Greece. Jeez, I've been to Athens and stuff. I might have driven through your place. I'll have to look on the map and see where it is. And I'm going to sleep. Have a great day to you all. Well, Laz, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and have a good nap. Tomorrow is another day. Bruce Cleaver. Morning, Andy. I watched your Toad Hall pie review. Unfortunately, I put the subtitles on. You would have thought Google understood English. But you were eating turd, possibly Toad Hall pie. Oh no. Well done, Google. Bruce Cleaver. Ari, your ankle. My mate jumped out of a skip last year. His heel landed on a small stone and shattered. Shit. I've heard of motocross riders. Sometimes their heels shatter when they come down from a big jump. And they don't give as much in the legs as they should do, or it's a bit too much of a big jump. Come across that before. And it is quite painful, isn't it? If you land on your heel and you're on a real hard surface, especially barefoot, it can be very, very painful. So you can see where that could happen. Simon, the old skills, asked my dad if he had a torque angle gauge. He gave me a paint pen and a protractor. There you go. That's what it's all about, Simon. Roger Heaps, I can't believe so-called dealer-trained technicians that are just parts fitters. Scan tools are very useful, but don't replace good old-fashioned diagnostics. They don't. A lot of the technicians now, they don't know what to look for. Whenever an engine fails or a component fails, the parts are trying to tell you a story, and you've got to know how to read that story. And it is very, very difficult. And often you've got a chicken and egg situation. What was the primary fail? What caused the engine to fail, and then caused the damage to all the other bits and pieces? And it might not be an engine. It might be a differential unit. It might be a water pump. It might be a transfer box. It might be a gearbox. It could be anything. But another burp. You've got to find what the primary fail is. If you don't, you might rebuild it without replacing, that primary fail, the thing that caused the problem at the start. And well, you know what? It's going to fail again, and then you're going to be, against the clock and under a lot more pressure and losing money trying to get it fixed. It's important that you don't destroy the evidence when you take something apart. You've just got to do it step by step and take lots of photos, because you might overlook something the first time round, and it's good to be able to go back to those pictures of the components and go, you know what, I think it might be this. And you can collaborate, you can speak to other people. I do, and get their opinion of what might have happened, and get their feedback, so then go back to the parts and take another look after you've spoken to them. It's all about working together. We don't all know everything, but all together we do, pretty much. But yes, the skill set is it's falling away very quickly, unfortunately, and I think this is partly because we're starting to live in a disposable world. You don't fix alternators anymore; you just put a new one on, for example. Although on a more positive note, one of my students, I think it was the last year that I taught at Unitech, a lass called Becky. I saw a post on Facebook. I did comment, so you can find that. You should be able to find it from my comment. She's just become fully qualified, so very, very pleased for her. She's a good mechanic. She listens, and very competent. Just gets on with the job. Doesn't need someone by her side all the time telling her what to do. She knows her stuff clearly. So I wish her all the best in the industry. I'm sure she will do very, very well. I just hope that they pay her well enough to keep her, to be honest. Sheldon, Andy, did you see that 6-cylinder 1200cc 2-stroke motorbike I sent you? Imagine that hitting the power band. All I could imagine, Sheldon, is falling off the back when it hit the power band. That's monstrous. Let me see if was it on Messenger? I think it was on Messenger. Not sure. What do you mean I've got no internet connection? Stupid phone. There we are. Is it on Messenger? Yes. Look. Stan Stevens, 1200cc V6 2-stroke motorcycle is frightening. Legendary motorcycle tuner Stan Stevens has built a 1200cc 2-stroke V6 motorcycle and is about as scary as it gets. That's on visordown.com, so you can check that one out if you like. That sounds phenomenal. That sounds like the kind of bike that Ben would want. But I wouldn't want him riding that, to be honest. He'd kill himself. He's quite happy on his little 2 strokes. Yeah. Stan Stevens is still going. That's crazy. What a bloke. Does some great work. Believe it or not, Ben's TDR, that's wrong. The original engine that was in Ben's TDR 250, which isn't in it anymore because he blew it up. That was sent to the UK and tuned by Stan Stevens and sent back to New Zealand. There's a bit of history for you, isn't it? Thank you for that, Sheldon. I do like those kind of stories, but I haven't read it yet. I will. At lunchtime today when I stop and have a pint, and it will be a pint because I've worked hard this week. It might slow me down for the afternoon even more, but I don't care. It'll be a pint. Simon, the good thing about the skill set is us that will not be out of work. We won't be out of. I mean, I have way more work than I can cope with, to be honest, and I need to start to say no. Well, I do already say no. I need to start saying no more often. I really want to get some more videos done, to be honest. I want to get that Myford lathe stripped, so at least I can order the last few parts for that. That's dragging on a bit. It's taking up room on my bench. I want to start putting that thing back together again before I forget how it goes back together. Yes, of course, there's Alan's bike. I'm looking forward to finishing my little DR200. There is a possibility, although it's very, very slim, that Holly might be able to come down over the Christmas period. Obviously, that won't happen if I'm doing the DR200 trip. So, you know, it's going to be one or the other, possibly. It looks like some of the restrictions are going to be lifted for travel over Christmas, but I just don't know. I don't know what our plans are at the moment. We'll see. Alan Cook, I just sent you an email, my YouTube video. An email? Wow. Hang on, let's have a look. Dum, dum, dum. Hasn't come through just yet, but it is updated. Bear with me. I'll have a look. Roger. It's finding people like you, Simon, that's the trick. Simon's a very clever chap. He's, again, keeps me on the straight and narrow. My skill set tends to be very broad, but not in some areas not very deep, to be honest. I'm always on a learning curve, and I always enjoy the learning side of it. And any help that I get, I always really, really appreciate it. William Wallace, freedom! Steak and haggis pies are the new superfood in Scotland. Wow, steak and haggis. Never had haggis. Don't think I've ever had haggis. Don't know. Isn't that sheep's intestines and stuff? Haggis? I don't know what it is. Tell me, William, what is haggis made up from? Or is it a secret? The new superfood. Now, tell me also, William, are they deep fat frying those pies? Because they used to do the Mars bars, didn't they? That was like a Scottish thing, was a deep fat fried Mars bar from your fish and chip shop. Never had one. I just couldn't bring myself to try it. Probably would have really liked it, but would have really liked it way too much, and it would have caused problems. I.e., I'd have had far too many of them. Anyway, coffee's getting cold. Cheers. So, going down my list, we're doing pretty well. Hour and 30, we're already over time. Next week, what is Andy doing next week? Well, potentially, I have a 6-seater ROV to do lots and lots of work to still. It'll be a good one to get out of the way because it's big and it is blocking up the entire carport. It's completely immobile now. All the wheels are off and the brakes are off and stuff. So I'll keep bumbling my way through that. I've not heard back yet from the surf club, I don't think. No response yet from the surf club, so that'll have to wait. So it probably won't get done for Thursday, in which case the trailer will be empty. I have to go back up to Auckland on Thursday. Got to get a test on Monday morning to facilitate that. In which case I'm going to take the Kubota back to the supplier up in Natia. It's not due a service yet, but it is still leaking hydraulic oil. So I need to get that fixed, and it's probably a bit low on hydraulic oil now, which could be bad for it. But also we've got a set of pallet forks and a quick hitch to fit. And there's an auger to go on the rear. Now, the auger itself, because it spins, it needs its own hydraulic feed. And that feed needs to be reversible because you need to be able to reverse the auger after you finish drilling the hole, or sometimes it can jam and that kind of thing. So it needs a separate spool valve fitting, and it needs all the hydraulic lines fitting to facilitate that. Now, there's different ways of fitting hydraulic lines, and initially the plan, what they would normally do is just run lines. I think they use the the spool valve for the 4-in-1 bucket that opens and closes the bucket at the front. They unhook that, unplug it, and then run long flexible hydraulic lines to the rear to run the auger. Not over happy with that. That's a bit of a bodge job as far as I'm concerned. So I want some proper hydraulic lines putting in, and only it's been made up of lots of different pieces, where the steel lines, are actually clamped to the arm, and then the flexi bits are just at the pivot points of each arm. So it needs to be done right. It needs its own dedicated spool valve. Yes, it's going to cost more money, but it's the right way to do it. So that's how we're going to do it, which means they might have the digger for 2 or 3 weeks maybe. The auger has arrived, but the pallet forks and the quick hitch haven't yet arrived. They're due in a couple of weeks. So if I can get it up there early, they can get on with doing the auger, fitting that and doing all the pipe work for that to make sure it all works properly. And then when the pallet forks and the quick hitch turn up, then I can go and pick it up on another run that I'm going past. Fortunately, it's on the way up to Auckland, and bring it home. So I'm going to be without the Kubota for a few weeks. And you can guarantee I'll have lots of jobs for it to do while it's not here. Yes. But once it's back, I can start drilling post holes and putting up another shed and doing the deck and doing all that kind of stuff. So yes, I have lots of work to do in a few weeks' time. Just planning ahead. Now, Simon, when you think that you have stopped learning, that's it to give up. It's time to give up. It is absolutely, Simon. We're always learning. William Wallace, sheep's pluck. I don't even know what one of those is. Minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices. I like suet, spices and salt, mixed with stock and cooked whilst traditionally encased in the animal's stomach. Maybe the last bit I could probably do without, but the rest of it sounds really good, although I don't know what a pluck is. Hope it's not what I'm thinking it might be. Anyway, Alan Cook, try again. I've got it, Alan. I've got it. Okay, I will. Can I show this one here? I don't know. Let's have a look. Putting it told off for copyright now. Ooh. You don't mind, do you, Alan? Alan's video. I don't know what it's. Oh, it's a drone video. Are we ready? Take off. You can do it. You can do it. Yo, look at that. Flying around his bedroom now, isn't it? Way. I would not want to be a passenger in that drone. I'd be. Oh, there's a person. That must be the flight attendant. Bloody good, mate. Wow. I'll watch that again when it's not on the live stream. There you go. Bit of drone flying stuff. Yes. I always just go ahead and do it and then I get permission afterwards. Thanks, Alan. Okay, so what's going to happen next week other than fixing the ROV? Well, really need to get on with this fabrication job with these plates. The footwell plates. I've got to get on with that. There's a lot of work involved, and the sooner we start, the sooner we get it finished. I've got to pick up some paint when I go up to Auckland so I can get them sprayed when they're all done, obviously. We may end up making them in 2 or 3 mini batches just to get the first batch out because I know that they are extremely urgent. So that might be the best way forward. We'll see. And we'll obviously get quicker at doing them. There's no doubt about that. Not really too sure how long it's going to take, so it's a bit of a wait and see kind of a job, really. But other than that, got 2 more ROVs to underseal. Haven't got any underseal. We've got some grey underseal on its way from Australia as we speak, but we don't know when it's going to arrive. We're still waiting for an update on that. So again, those 2, even though I'm bringing them down from Auckland, on the Friday, after I've delivered 2 new ones on the Friday morning, they may just end up being stripped down and just waiting for the underseal to turn up. And of course, the underseal will arrive in Auckland, so I'm going to have to collect the underseal and bring it back down on one of my next trips. Hopefully when the 6-seater goes back, if it doesn't go back on Thursday. It's all very complicated. And embedded in all of that, I have to get tests done and then wait 3 days before I can get over the border. Crazy. Simon, I tend to like my flight attendants buxom and blonde. I agree. I do miss the Air New Zealand air hostesses, to be fair. They're usually very well presented. Very good. Anyway. Right, Jim Haynes, I'm late again. Jim, you just got in there. I'm about to sign off. Jim Haynes, I'm late again, but did hit the like button. Thank you very much, Jim. You're going to have to watch the live stream from the start because we're just about to finish. One more slug of coffee. Still warm. Well, brings us to the end of an awesome pie for the pie review today. It's going to be really hard to beat that. And yes, I am stuffed. But no, the heartburn's good, actually. It's not even repeating, which is I'm amazed about, considering how tasty it was. Okay, crew. Well, until next Sunday, I have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to crack on. What's that? Jim Haynes. Is the go-kart going to be made longer for older kids? Funny, Jim. In fact, Jared was telling me the other day that he has got the engine for it, and he's going to... I'll have to get the engine down. Sort of hint, when are you going to get the go-kart done? I know. It'll happen. It has to happen. It's hanging up there, still in the ceiling at the moment, out of the way. I'm looking forward to doing it. And it's not a hard job. It shouldn't take that long to do. And I've got all the steel work here to do it. No, it's not getting a YPVS 350 engine. All right, crew. Well, until next time, next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Don't hold your breath for any more videos. Might be, probably won't. See you next time. Cheers, crew. Over and out.